Welcome everybody to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, here with Susan, my pal, who's done several hundred of these together. And this idea, the Daily Dose, this conversation has evolved a lot. And one of the evolutions, I think, where we're at as an organization, because that's why I think largely this was formed, is like to say, we're doing this thing called Yes and Exercise. We know it's a funny sounding name. A lot of people don't understand what that means. And it's a nonprofit. And what does that mean? Well, all of these doses are to further expand that. We are, I think, at a place in our organization, 3+ years in, where I think it's a clearer ask and a clearer understanding of what we really want from people who see us than ever. And to that end, before we even dive in further, I'm going to present the video, and you can relate to this new video we cut sharing what success stories are and who we are. Here we go. Parkinson's is the fastest growing neurological disease in the world. And yet, bad storytelling keeps us from getting what we need. It's not that bad. You don't look like you have Parkinson's. It's just tremors, right? At Yes and Exercise, we amplify the voices of the Parkinson's community so we can all tell the whole truth and accelerate the cure. We're excited to announce our Sustainer Circle, and today's the day we ask you to join us.
I give to Yaks because I have Parkinson's and because I want to live a life of fun, not fear.
I give to Yaks because it gives to me support, purpose, friendship, life.
I give because the stories that we tell ourselves really matter. They shape who we believe we are, and they also shape what we believe is possible.
I give because it's a community and it feels really good.
I give because Yaks gives me a purpose and a positive focus for my energy.
Yes and Exercise is a safe and bright harbor for the all too often dark spaces that impact our community. Join us so that we can all be amplified and accelerate the cure. Okay. So there it is. That's our new video. I think really well explains who we are. What is your feeling when you see that?
One thing.
You mute yourself? It's that? I don't know why you had to mute yourself, but yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself, dear. I love the bubbles and the dragon.
I had to mute myself because he's got a voice while he's doing his bubble thing. And anyway, I thought that would be a show don't tell answer to your question. I love the different voices, the different actual perspectives that people said different things.
Yeah.
And, any of us could have talked for 20 minutes on the, half a dozen words that we threw out there. And that's what's so beautiful and genius about this, what we've created here, what we do. It's very, very responsive, I think, to us as individuals. So what came out of me in that particular moment was, I give because it's a community. How important that is in all of our lives, the sense of not being isolated.
Well, exactly. Right. And I love what you said, responsive to us as individuals, and I think respectful to all of us as more than Parkinson's. This is one of the reasons I love the Acadia campaign so much too, although they're particularly tied to expanding, toward, their drug, which helps understand hallucinations and delusions. That idea of more to Parkinson's is so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
That a person, and there's more to the person with Parkinson's than Parkinson's. And, that's where identity is so important in what we're doing. And, that's not me. We talk about that all the time. And, what people believe they can or can't do, and how we've seen time and again them break through that in real time, instantly, right?
Well, isn't that the truth? The real time part it's sobering, really. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm flashing a little bit on the trailer, the new trailer for the Boys of Summer documentary.
We'll
It
get to
fits-
that.
Well, it fits in as a success story. So we'll come back to that if that's what you would like to do.
Yeah.
It is really neat for me though that it just fits in there.
Well, one thing you said, and yes, we will get back to Boys of Summer because you're right, it's a foundational success story. When we talked about instant transformation, again, we know it's never really instant. It just happens that the wheel turned in front of us, right? We saw that in our success stories meeting twice last Monday with dear friends Doris and Wayne, right?
Two
Two,
out of two.
right? Two participants who were very new to that part of the process. They've both gone through cinema therapy programs. They're both big fans of Yaks, but both had big reservations about their ability to participate in this and yet really wanted to as well. And right up to the deadline of class when we were supposed to, have turn something in, they just barely threw something in and weren't sure about it. And then I read them to the class and everybody was so moved. And Doris and Wayne were moved by the way they moved people.
Yes. I mean,
Right?
tears moved.
Yeah, and laughter. It was both.
Indeed, yes. Just part of the tears were just the sheer beauty of the use of language.
That's right. And this is, when we go from doubt, which leads a lot of people to isolation, right? Because I don't know that I can, so I'm just going to step aside or I'm going to sit this one out, to immediate, oh my gosh, following Wayne's World, not only did that make me feel great that others were moved, but now, hey, what do you guys think about it? He's expanding his life into the story that a minute ago was the thing that was going to push him out the door. That's the power of the group. And why it's so important. I just sent out an email, I don't know if you saw it yet, but about, and I made the class pledge last week. No one's going to do this alone. We promise not to suffer in silence. And we see it happen in our classes all the time that people, they start to doubt. They're not sure they can. They're not sure they get it. And so I just didn't turn something in, or I don't really know what I'm doing. It's like the minute you feel that, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, that's so yummy. It's such a, well, that's the community. It's so should be freeing and supportive and validating because it's real. We are there, truly there for each other.
Well, and I want to make sure everybody knows, and I keep trying to repeat it, but I'm not sure everyone believes it. I've been doing this, decades, right? It's both professional and educational. I've been trained. I've got tons of experience storytelling. I am an expert. And yet, in cutting of that video, for instance, I was so in doubt. I was doing it going, this isn't working. I'm not getting the message across. I don't know what's happening. And the minute I got all of you to step up and say your one-line pieces, and I put you on the timeline next to each other, I went, there it is. Because me alone in that video felt very isolated. I was like, yeah, okay, great. I've got a PhD. I've got my story with my dad, but it's never, as you know, ever been about me. I'm a piece of it, but it's not about me. And then when your voices synchronize and harmonize and raise the thing up, part and parcel, it worked.
Half of the reason it worked is the things that you outlined.
Sure.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You don't even look like you have Parkinson's. I mean, that's supposed to be a compliment, I suppose, in a way. Maybe it would make you, but it's so unfair to the disease.
Let me drill down on that one in particular, because you've heard that one before. That story, you don't look like you have Parkinson's.
From my doctor.
Yeah. So okay, great. At a doctor level, what does that do to you? You said unfair. I want you to dive into that. Why people need to understand why it's such a damaging narrative. You don't look like you have Parkinson's.
I don't want to have to list all this stuff that I have to deal with. I mean, as you know, I had to say no to something you asked me to do that I really wanted to do, and I just wasn't well. And I thought, I can't bring me, and that just. But I don't want to have to defend all these symptoms, that I live with.
There it is.
From time to time, and there are how many, Robert? 40, 50?
At minimum, right?
Yeah, so it's crazy.
Just
More,
because somebody's seeing you in an upcycle, which by the way, the typical person with Parkinson's, that's what they display. From a defense mechanism, I understand. Why would you want to show the vulnerable parts of you that you're not happy about? No one does that. Parkinson's or no. We all,
and the world thinks that it looks like this, you know,
right.
that
And
it's
so there's the dangerous narrative because of all the stuff they're not seeing. And and just like you say, it's unfair, which I agree, it's a great word for somebody to say you don't have Parkinson's. It's not fair to just tell someone, well, just go out there and be brave and show everybody. That's scary and difficult too. That's what this middle road is about. That's once again the power of the aesthetic distance. I'm going to show what I'm feeling through someone else. It's not me.
well, like you said the other day, you didn't really have to go through the hell of that you went through to get your PhD to have the sympathy and the sensitivity and the understanding of what it's like to go through the kind of hell that some of us go through in some ways, you know, every day. It's and at the same time, when my doctor said to me, "What are you doing here? Get out of my office." You know, she said to another patient who was there, "She's my poster child." In a way, you know, that it's a compliment, and she's proud,
Right.
and so I'm happy, right? That I
Right. Strokes your ego.
And then if you give it about a half a second of thought, it's like, well, you don't, you know, I'm not going to list all these things and talk about it.
Not now. I don't want to lose my poster child status. I mean, Doris is spectacular at that. Just like John was the one who kicked open the door for us to have justified, relevant anger, frustration. Doris immediately yes-anded that by saying, you know what I've been doing with my doctor? Saying, I'm the poster child. And she talked about how exhausting that is to have to be a presentational person with Parkinson's.
Right, right. That's you're really being dishonest at that point.
Yeah, and damaging, more than dishonest. You're damaging yourself because of how far you're pushing just to get either that approval or live to that piece of yourself. It's not that that part isn't true. It's just not the whole truth.
It's the what I didn't say part that
Yeah.
matters, that counts, that's the most important.
Yeah. And acknowledging that it's hard to say. And this is where the people outside of Parkinson's are so necessary. And like you said, I mean, right up to the most learned, well-meaning doctors not getting it, right? And in without understanding damaging or causing damage to you because of they not recognizing the power of their words. Michael Oken actually does a really good job of this. This is something that's going to end up in Boys of Summer. I have that beautiful interview with him, and he goes on pretty explicitly about the power of words and how doctors need to be a lot more careful with the words they choose in the office, right? And
So
God,
cool.
what did this fit yesterday? There was something where this came across, and it was such an improv thing. It was about the power of listening and saying less. It's escaping me at the moment, but there was somewhere it came across, and it was just one of those. Oh my God, this is what we're talking about here. It's about being quiet and listening, and it was someone from a position of authority or power, recognizing the power means you have to listen. The power does not mean you need to imbue your power upon others. The power means
Yeah.
you have to be very much okay. What's actually take in, right?
And receptive, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it's when we were talking about when vulnerability was the emotion of the day, and we were.
I mean, it came up there, but I swear there was something else I saw, and it was kind of like when I shared with you guys the Dead Poets Society scene. Which, by the way, that'll be another dose. I'll put that forward. We'll show that, and that'll be a what we call a reaction video, because you know when you see something, some piece of truth, especially in a book or a movie in a creative form, right, where you're dialed in because it's done its job, right? The suspension of disbelief is there. You're in the scene with them. You're totally invested. And then some piece of truth that you thought was just yours happens on the screen, and it hits what I feel it's a bucket of cold water. You go, oh, and that was certainly that scene, which again we'll talk about later, but this moment was that too. And it's okay that I can't find it, but just enough that validation. That's why success stories are so important. All of us have those moments of truth to illuminate in others that validate their experience, that give them the opportunity to be lift up, to know that they're heard, seen, and valued. All of that happens.
I loved, and I guess this is what you're saying we're going to talk about at another time, but I loved my reaction to that scene that clip from Dead Poet Society.
Well, we've teased people enough. I'm going to cut this. We're going to come back in another episode, and we're going to show that scene from Dead Poet Society.
Let's do that. Really,
It's a
I'd
good
love
setup.
to be able to share that.
We'll see you on the next dose.
Thanks.